Thank you. Thank you so much and welcome to the Seventh Heaven Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow the show on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. You can listen on iTunes. You can listen on Google Play. You can listen on Spotify for now. Before I take my stance against misinformation. But we're on Spotify for now. And we're on Google Play. And we're on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey and iHeartRadio. My God, we're everywhere for now. Before I take my stance against misinformation. Speaking of misinformation, we got a great show for you guys today. Great show. Great show. Lots of fun. We're having a lot of fun here. The people are having a great time.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Joe, this is a family-friendly podcast. Joe, please don't use that kind of language. It's very excessive and rude.
Fucking thing sucks.
Bill. Bad Bill. That is out of line, Bill. We are trying to keep this podcast clean. So, a lot of people, here's the thing, guys. A lot of people, they write into the show and they say, Evan, I love your show. I love it. I love your show. I listen every day. And I say, I only put out one a week. You say, it doesn't matter. I will listen to the same episode once per day. I go, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. But then they say, the problem is I can't listen in the car with my kids. Because of your language and because of your topics. Quite frankly, it's gross, you're vulgar, it's offensive, it's immoral. We want really nothing of the sorts around our children, because if you got to think of the children. And I'm always taken aback when I hear that one, that you choose to drive your kids to school. I walked to school, okay? I walked, not for all of school. And when I wanted a ride, I'd let my mom, I want a ride. But I walked to school, damn it. So if if you're offended by that language, then, have your kids walk to school. That's my advice. But then they email back, they say, Evan, you need to go for more walks. My kids don't need to go for walks. I would like to drive my kids to school. I get to spend time with them. And I go, you want to spend time with your kid? They say, yes. I go, God, we're already worlds apart. But they say, Evan, we love the show. We want to share it with a friend. We want to like and subscribe. But the language is just too much. And I said, all right, okay. I will work a clean show. I won't swear. I won't be offensive. I will be careful with the news that I talk about, because I'm thinking about the children. I'm thinking for the kids. I am thinking of the kids. And if that's what the kids need, they don't want swearing around them. They don't want adult content, then I respect that.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Joe. No, Joe. No. See, this is the thing. Even if I am responsible with my language, I can't guarantee anything for my co-hosts.
Fucking thing sucks.
They have a bill. We've talked about that. That is inappropriate. And again, the children would love to listen to the show if only my co-hosts, Bill and Joe, would be responsible with their language. What was that, Joe?
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's always Always too fearful to say it to my face. He has to mumble it. Listen to him.
Stupid son of a bitch.
What a mumbler. Yeah, typical Joe. Well, listen, guys, I can't speak for them. I cannot speak for Joseph Biden, and I cannot speak for Billy S. O'Reilly. I can't. I would like to, but I can't. So I will try not to swear, but I can't. These guys, they might. So kids, if you have a problem with that, I don't fucking care. It's not my problem. And stop emailing me. Email. This is what you guys should be emailing me. I don't know, questions. You should be emailing me questions for me to answer. That's what you should do. You should be saying, hey, Evan, you seem to have your life all figured out. Why don't you answer this life question I have and give me some advice like Dr. Laura. There's a deep cut. And I say, yeah, send me an email. It's through my link tree, guys. It's through my link tree. I don't know if you guys know what a link tree is. It's a tree for links. And basically, if you go onto my Twitter or my Instagram, there's a little link, and it says Linktree/Evan Myers. Okay, that's me. On the very top, there's a contact form, and you can email me. You can send me an email. What kind of power is that? To imagine the thought that you can tell me whatever you want through email. This isn't like Twitter, okay, where it's all censored or whatnot. This is an email. So, yes, send me your questions. Send me your thoughts and prayers. Don't send me your prayers. It's nothing personal. I don't need to know anything. You send me that email and you tell me whatever you want. Whatever you want. Now, if you do threaten my life, I will have to file a police report. And not because I think you're going to do anything about it, but because, it just sounds like fun. And then also, maybe they make an episode out of it for Law and Order, and I get that residual. I don't think they give crime victims residuals. They should. That'd be the benefit of getting victimized by a crime, is that you get a residual for it. Anywho, we got a great show planned for you guys today. Send me an email, share with a friend. We got a great show. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this story, but it's the top story of the week. It's the most important story of the week. And you say, Evan, is it this justice stepping down? And I go, no, it's not. And they say, Evan, is it Joseph Biden's incursions into Ukraine? And I say, no, it's not that. It's not that. And then you say, Evan, is it these truckers driving to Ottawa? And I say, what the fuck is an Ottawa? No, it is that effective immediately. My God, this comes to us by the Daily Wire, by the way. Effective immediately, ABC suspends Whoopi Goldberg over wrong and hurtful comments. Oh, God. Written by Virginia Cruta. That's change your name. Virginia. ABC News announced Tuesday evening that Whoopi Goldberg, longtime host of daytime talk show The View, has been suspended for comments she made about the Holocaust and race. Quote, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. The entire ABC News organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, and communities. ABC News President Kim Godwin said in a statement, thank you, Kim. Goldberg apologized for remarks on a Monday evening, tweeting again during Tuesday's broadcast of the show. Let's see where this is let me play the clip, guys. This is what we do. We're very well organized. This is a very well organized production. And what we have here is audio. There's a video to this, but you guys can't see it because you're listening in your car with your fucking kids. This is The View. This is from Nicholas Fondacaro. He says, sparks fly as The View panel confronts Whoopi after she says, quote, the Holocaust isn't about race. Race? No, it's not about race. So I'll just play it. I'll play it. We report, you decide.
Well, also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
No, it's about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy.
It's not about
ideal race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Well, they go after black people
see them as white people.
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody eats each other. So if you're uncomfortable, if you hear about mouse, should you be worried? Should your child say, oh my God, I wonder if that's me? No, that's not what they're going to say. They're going to say, I don't want to be like that.
Well, hopefully.
I want to be cool.
Yeah.
And
most kids, they don't want to be cruel.
No, they don't.
And we're living in an era where people are comparing vaccine cards to the yellow stars, where people are comparing vaccinations to what Anne Frank went through.
Yeah.
So it is necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust.
Learn about man's inhumanity to man, however it exposes itself. I have to cut you off.
I just want to say that mouse was banned, and it flew to top 20 of Amazon's rules last week, of charts.
Yes.
The more you ban it, the more we want to read it.
Goldberg attempted to clear things up with a tweeted apology and an appearance with late-night host Stephen Colbert, but she seemed to only dig the hole deeper. Do I read this or do I play the clip of this? Let's play the clip. No, I'll read it. No, I'll play the clip. No, I'll read it. People were very angry and said, no, we are a race. And I understand. I felt differently. I respect everything everyone is saying to me. I don't want to fake apologize, she added. I am very upset that people misunderstood what I was saying. And because of it, they are saying I am anti-Semitic and denying the Holocaust and all these other things that would never occur to me to do. Have you come to understand that the Nazis saw it as a race? Colbert asked. Asking the Nazis, they would say, yes, it's a racial issue. And then she says, this is what's interesting to me because the Nazis lied. It wasn't, Goldberg said, and then attempted to split hairs by suggesting it was an ethnic issue rather than a racial one. They had issues with ethnicity, not with race, because most of the Nazis were white people, and most of the people they were attacking were white people. So to me, I'm thinking, how can you say it's about race if you are fighting each other? Well, listen, guys. Here's the thing. Whoopi is not smart. Now, I'm not saying that she doesn't know things, but in terms of like talking about racial issues or history or the economy or politics or, just important things, science, she's not a smart person in any of those. Like she's a good comic. She's funny. She was for sure in that one movie, but Whoopi's not. She's not Einstein. she's not she's not exactly what you would call a bright person. And that is the prerequisite to being on The View. It's the only reason Meghan McCain lasted on The View, because Meghan McCain's not a dummy, but she kept thinking that like her arguments mattered, and you're in a room filled with women who don't give a shit about the argument. They don't care. Like, they are just their wine mom fucking, sorry kids, they don't do anything. Your parents are drunks, kids. That's what I'm telling you. Your parents, most American parents, are just alcoholics. Okay? So if your mom is polishing off a bottle of wine when she's helping you with your homework, it's because you're intolerable. Intolerable. Word of the day, kids. Look it up. Anywho, Whoopi eats like weed brownies for breakfast. She is not a highly intellectual person. If you asked her to explain the difference between Israel and Palestine, she would just kind of give a whatever answer and then, rip a bong. She would rip the bong and say something. It's not about race. It's about how man treats man. Well, okay. And, she's not wrong in that end. She's not wrong. It is fundamentally, it's about what man is, man's inhumanity to man. That is true. The Nazis did consider the Jewish part in their equation. It was part of the equation. So that's where Whoopi went wrong. That's why you can't say like, slavery had nothing to do with race. And it's like, well, it had something to do with race, like it certainly had. Now it's not to say that they didn't try to pull that shit on other people. They tried slavery with the poor whites. They called it indentured servitude, and it didn't work. So they say, well, that's not going to work. And then they tried it with the natives, and then that didn't work either. So they're, well, that's not going to work. So then they settled on black slaves. Now, you can say, hey, there's white indentured servants. What's the difference? It's like, well, there is, and it was bad. But the actual institution of slavery, to say, if you said race had nothing to do with it, you would, you'd be kind of retarded. So again, this is not, Whoopi's not smart. This is not a smart person that we're dealing with. And, Sister Act 1 was fun. It was a fun film. I grew up watching the what's the one with all those fucking kids? Alfalfa. I'm spacing on the name. Rugrats? No, it's not Rugrats. Oh no, hold on. Let me look this up because I'm being really stupid right now. Alfalfa. Little Rascals. Thank you. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Now, I have to say this about The View. The View is for dumb women. It's not for intelligent people. There's a reason why it plays on in the middle of the day. It's when everyone who's home and uneducated and unemployable is hanging out and watching TV. That's it. It's like court TV. It's like the Jerry Springer of politics, right? Like, I know there's some hipsters. I know I have a large hipster audience, and the hipsters, they love Jerry and they love Maury, but the vast majority of people who that's geared for are for people who think wrestling is real. Like they think they think that Kane and Undertaker are actually brothers, you know? And so if you're at home all day and you're ripping the weed or you're drinking the beer or whatnot, and you want some politics, you put on The View. That's your political world. So Whoopi is really speaking for the masses here, I would argue. I think she's speaking for the masses. Not me. Not me. Certainly not me. But she is speaking for the masses. These are not bright people. These are not intelligent people. These are not our best. They are not our brightest. And so she's saying to what they're saying. Now they're confused, because they're like, Whoopi, why? Why, Whoopi, why? But again, this is Whoopi Goldberg we're talking. This is who she is. She's not, and so they've suspended her for 2 weeks. And, I have to say, I don't like, this is not, that's not really that bad of a punishment in my mind. To get a 2-week vacation from having to fucking show up to that job. I think like 2 weeks, if I were Whoopi, that would be my exit. I'd be like, I'm out. Let's just run this retirement going. We'll get her back out on the stage. We'll prop her up somewhere. It'll be fun. We'll have a great time. I have to say, the whole cancel culture thing, this is the entertaining part of this to me about cancel culture is not that, it's not real because she only got suspended and isn't fired. I don't fucking care about that. First off, they're not going to fire Whoopi for saying something stupid. That would set a whole precedent at The View. They would never be able to climb out of that. Joy Behar would be gone. The fucking Sonny Hodgkin's lymphoma would be gone. That other fucking bitch, the other bag, and that one broad, they'd all be gone. All those bitches would be gone. So then you would have no View. You would go from The View to no View. It'd be like if your neighbor you had this beautiful ocean view and he said, fuck you, I'm adding a third story, and he blocked it. That's what if you fire these women for saying stupid things, you lose the show. The show dies. So these are the things you have to consider when canceling Whoopi Goldberg. But here's the thing. I don't think that anybody should be canceled ever for any reason. I do think, here's the thing. I think if you've been a proponent, like there's the two sides to cancel culture. There's the guys, there's three really. There's the guys who go, well, it's not real at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's not cancel culture. It's called accountability. Like you get that guy. And that's just that's like the nut who thinks that everything they've figured it all out and their world is those people should have no power. You just have no power. Then you have the people who just lie. They go, well, cancel culture is not really that bad. Like it's there, but it's not bad, and it's actually good. It's actually good. And you're like, well, that's not reasonable, right? That's like, because here's the thing. Maybe some people benefit from it, but some people certainly do not. And it's also not it's not a good thing to group people together and to devour an individual. Like that we call that mob mentality. So if you're like, well, yeah, the mob's good. It's like, okay, well, if the mob's good, you might be on the bad end of that one day. So be very careful there. And then there's the people who are like, oh, well, actually, it's good for their career. And it's like, well, there's some truth to some of that, but not everybody. Like, if you're some fucking random person and CNN comes after you, which they have, then there's no protection. It's the Daily Wire, no offense, they're not going to come help you out. No one's going to help you out. But if you're, if you have a noticeable or you have an audience, then you might get a fucking show out of it. That's true. But it didn't always used to be that way. That's a new thing. This is a new development. It used to be where there was nowhere for these people to go. Now they've gone to other places, and now you have the Daily Wire, where they have all these people. It's like the island of misfit canceled toys, and it's fun. It's fun. I'm all for it. But that's the thing. You incentivize it. You created that, and now like you can cancel Whoopi, but worst case scenario, what? She ends up on the Daily Wire. You know. Like that could be we can have the View for conservatives. We just have a bunch of shrieking blonde women, mostly blonde. You'd have one brunette, and she'd be like the down to earth one, you know? And then you'd have at least 2 or 3 just platinum blondes with big fucking tits, and they're fake. They are fake. And just low cut all the way. 2 of them have to be married. 2 of them have been married. And like one of them has to have like 4 kids. One of them maybe is like trying for a kid, so they get you thinking like, oh yeah, she's doing it. And then you get the other one. Then you get the one who's not married, and she's the available one, right? So it'll be like, oh my God, what's gonna happen with her? And then she'll get married later in life to some fucking random dude that you're like, what? And then you throw in, and then Whoopi is Juan Williams. You know, Whoopi is she's black, she's liberal, she's easy to beat up on in the argument. You know, I think that would be great. I think it would be Fox. This should already be in the works. You're welcome. Tom Brady retired. Isn't that crazy? Tom fucking Brady retired. Tomas, he was a stud. You know, here's the thing. I used to be a Brady hater. I did. And when I hate guys in the NFL, it's rarely because of them on a personal level. It's always how much I have to see them, you know? Like it's like eventually you just get sick of things. Like I'm just tired of Conor McGregor, you know? I got tired of him. You get tired of The Rock. You get tired of like, well, what's that Apple show everybody loves? God, they're always going on about it. It's probably good, but it's like, it's with Sudeikis, I think. And it's like, it's just everybody always references it. And you're just like, eventually you just start rolling your eyes. You know, oh, Game of Thrones. You're just like, oh. And so I got that way with Tom, because when the NFL has a good product, they shove it in your face every fucking chance they get. And so I got tired of Tom Brady. And I thought, well, you know, you had Deflategate, you had Spygate. You know, all these guys are worried that Bill's recording the locker room. Like, there's just so much about it that I was just, oh, fuck this guy. And then, you know, the thing is, though, the guy played for 22 years. And that's how I felt for the first 10 or whatever it was, maybe longer. But then eventually you get to the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl that the Patriots played in, the one with Malcolm Butler making the pick at the end zone. By that point, Tom was sort of just like Tom, right? And then here came the fucking Legion of Boom talking all this shit. Like they're the new defense to look out for, and we're the best and better look. And you got loudmouth fucking Richard Sherman popping off and all that. And for the first time, there was that Super Bowl where, you know, you can always pick at least one team. I'm sitting there going, fuck, the Seahawks or the Patriots. I'm like, fucking get Tom another ring. Let's go. Let's go. And that's when I started to turn. And then came 28-3, where even I was saying, hey, it'd be cool for, Falcons. They don't win anything. They're the Falcons. It'd be cool if they got a ring. It'd be good for them. And I like Matt Ryan. Get Matt Ryan a ring. And then 28-3, the motherfucker comes back and beats them. And you can't, there gets to be a point where you can't hate somebody because they have forced you into respecting them, right? Like, there is a point where they eventually become undeniable. And that is what Brady did. Tom Brady was the greatest football player of all time. And I'm willing to hear arguments about Lawrence Taylor, but that's it. I think it used to be, I think Joe Montana was close. And I think here's what separates in my mind Tom Brady from Joe Montana. Joe Montana traded from the 49ers, whatever. He's not in the he left the 49ers, went to the Chiefs, and had a great remaining career there, but never won another Super Bowl. Tom Brady left the Patriots in one season, a season during a pandemic where they had no OTAs, they had no meetings. Everything was basically put on hold until August, and he turned that team a perennial loser, a team that had not been in the playoffs in 10 years, maybe longer, 11 years even. Took that team to a wild card berth and then went and beat the Washington football team. Retired Drew Brees in the Saints' home dome in their stadium, and then went up to Lambeau, beat Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau, and then in the Super Bowl beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's Chiefs. He did that in 1 year. 1 year. So in my mind, you could argue maybe Elway, you can argue, there's arguments to be made for different guys, but the thing that he did was something that Montana never could do, that Elway never did. No one ever did this. And to go from one conference to win, to dominate in one conference, and then to go to the other conference and then run through. I mean, that's the thing. You had Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. That's the class of the NFC. And he, obviously it's a team sport, but that was his role in that. I don't think that the Bucs win a Super Bowl last year with a lesser talent at quarterback. I think it took Brady. I think it took Tom Brady. So eventually a guy becomes undeniable. And so for me, by the time he came to the Bucs, I liked him. I went from hater to lover. Sensually. We made love many times. There's your headline for the show. I made love with Tom Brady. And one time in the woods. Well, creek. Well, sewage drainage. But the point is, Tom's the best. And so you can't, there's a point where, you can get annoyed because I get it. I get tired of hearing about fucking Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. If Aaron Rodgers goes to some other team and it's interesting next year, then I'm fine. And then I'll probably even root for him. But just this, one more year of I knew fucking Aaron Rodgers was not getting another Super Bowl with the Packers, and every time they act like it's going to happen, and it's not. It just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't. There's a reason why they lose in the playoffs every year. And it's not entirely, I'm not putting that on Aaron Rodgers. because it's a team sport. And I think the Packers are an overrated bad franchise. So every year it's like you know, here's the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, here's Tom Brady and whatever he's playing for, here's the Cowboys, here's this rookie, and you get oversaturation. So I understand if you hate Tom Brady, if only for the oversaturation. I think that's fair. But if you take a step back and you look at him as a player, he's the greatest to ever do it. He's the greatest to ever do it, and it's undeniable at this point. And I'm saying, oh, Evan, you're a Bucs fan, that's why. No. No, he was already, that's the thing. For me, it came down to between him and Joe Montana. That's what it boiled down to, was Joe Montana. And I always said that, you know, Tom Brady, yes, he has a lot of rings. He has a lot of rings, but it's a team sport. And, you know, guys got to catch the ball. Guys got to block. Guys got to make turnovers happen. Like, it's not just Tom. But, first off, that applies to every player, not just when we talk about quarterbacks. But two, Tom separated himself because he did the next thing that none of them could do, which was go to the other conference and turn a perennial playoff loser, not even playoff loser, they didn't make the fucking playoffs, a team so bad that it's embarrassing. And was it a good roster in place? Absolutely. That's why he went there. That's what drew him in, was that he had Mike Evans, that he had Chris Godwin, that he had a GM that was willing to trade for Rob Gronkowski. He knew that. He knew that going in. So I think there's a point where you just have to realize that the debate is over, that he is the greatest of all time. And the separation is that it's not only that he had all these Super Bowl rings, he did it without Bill. And he did it in 1 year. And if you watch the Patriots at all the year before, you did not see them going to a Super Bowl, regardless if Tom is playing or not. He went to a team that was locked and loaded, and he pulled the trigger. And then the next year he goes to the divisional round, and everybody was down on the Bucs for some reason. They beat the Colts. They beat the Bills. There were good victories in there, quality victories. And then they met a Rams team that was ready. That was where they were last year. They're hungry. That's a team that's been close for so long. They're due. That's why I don't know if I can. I don't have a good feeling picking against Joe Burrow. I'll say that, but I think that the Rams are just they're too motivated right now. So that's my early prediction, is that the Rams win the Super Bowl here. But yeah, so Tom was the greatest, and you know, as a Bucs fan, as a fan who endured Josh Freeman, Josh Johnson, Mike Glennon, Josh McCown, Jameis Winston, Brian Fitzpatrick, as a guy who's gone through all those quarterbacks, that murderer's row of quarterbacks, Jeff Garcia. As somebody who's gone through all those, you know, to have a guy who is like Michael Jordan offer up his services to your team, it was just, that's awesome. It was awesome. And the thing that I really look forward to is that I know that whenever his story is told, whenever there's documentaries made about him or highlight reels, when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, there's going to be guys like Mike Evans in that. Cam Brate is going to be part of that. You know, guys who I've watched over the course of years. You know, I mean, I remember when those guys were drafted or undrafted, even in Cam Brate's case. Cam Brate received the last catch in Tom Brady's career. He had the last pass from Tom, and he was an undrafted guy. The Saints had him, you know, and then he came over to the Bucs signed him back, and he earned his way into a real contract, And Jameis loved throwing to him. Ryan Fitzpatrick loved throwing to him. And Tom would throw to him. And he got the last pass. So, there's something where you go, okay, like I've watched this guy on this team work his way up. And I'm happy that he got to be part of it. I remember when Mike Evans was drafted. That draft, it was him and Johnny Manziel. And Johnny fell. Johnny fell in the draft, and people thought Manziel might go to the Bucs. And I remember watching so much Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans and Sammy Watkins footage, because that was the thing. Maybe the Bills were going to take Mike Evans and Sammy Watkins come to us, and I go, well, Mike, Sammy Watkins could play special teams, so that's what I liked about him. But Mike Evans was just a monster receiver, and you watch this. I mean, him and Johnny were magic for sure, but Johnny's just throwing it up there, and Mike Evans is coming down with the ball, and he was a monster, and I was so happy when we drafted him. And then now, he caught Tom Brady's last touchdown, and he caught it over Jalen Ramsey. That's not a small feat, Jalen Ramsey is probably the best corner in the league, if not, second or third, but probably the best. And Mike Evans, who's not exactly known for burning people, to go deep and to just catch a bomb over him, I mean, that was awesome. So, and all the other guys that were on that team, there's lots of Chris Godwin. I remember when we drafted him, and he was just, they got so excited about him. And then he was instrumental in our Super Bowl win. He was instrumental in our season this year. So, yeah, that's where I'm happy. I'm happy that all these guys that I've watched over the years, Ali Marpet, Donovan Smith, guys who otherwise didn't know much success, but were very good at what they did, so got no credit. They got paid, but they didn't get any of the credit. They didn't get any of the Pro Bowls, the All-Pros. They didn't get any of that. Well, Tom just put them all on the map, and now they shall get awards. I believe Ali Marpet and Vita Vea and some other guys are at the Pro Bowl this weekend, so that's awesome. Yeah, that was the real benefit. So good luck, Tom, in your retirement. And he leaves the NFL in good hands in terms of quarterbacks. He does. He leaves the NFL in good hands. You've got Justin Herbert, who's a stud, Joe Burrow, who's a stud, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the NFL, young guys. So it's not like we're going to be left with bad football anytime soon. So it's exciting. I know he kind of gave the next class a shout out in his statement, but yeah, who would have thought? That's the other thing. Who would have thought Tom outlasted Ben Roethlisberger, by a game, but still, he outlasted Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, that whole era of quarterbacks that we, when I was growing up, that's who I was watching. I was watching, sort of the end of Favre's career, but also, you had Peyton Manning for sure in all of that. Mark Sanchez. There was a lot of really Matt Ryan is still, he might be the last old guy now, huh? I'm trying to think. But yeah, anywho, it should be interesting. It will be interesting. So Tom, take a bow. We love you.
The American people are tired of women.
Listen, Bernie, that's we don't appreciate that kind of sexism on the show. Anywho, let's see here. Let's get into our last story of the night, of the evening, of the day. No, it's our second to last one. This one comes to us by the way of Fox News. Fox News, it says Apple's pregnant man emoji, part of big tech's strange fixation on gaslighting us. This is what I call, this is a fucking commentary. Sorry. Let me get the actual story. My bad. Maybe I'll edit this. This comes to us by the way of foxbusiness.com. Pregnant man, pregnant person emoji coming to Apple iPhones. Apple's version of new emoji were released Thursday as part of the iOS 15.4 beta. This story comes to us by Audrey Conklin. A pregnant man emoji and pregnant person emoji are coming to Apple iPhones with its latest update, iOS 15.4, sparking controversy. The pregnant emoji aren't new for some since they arrived as part of an update that Emojipedia announced in September 2021. However, Apple's versions of the emojis were released Thursday as part of iOS 15.4 beta, a voluntary system update iPhone users can choose to install. The update will come to all iPhone users later this year. The push to include everyone in pregnancy has erupted in controversy, with some cultural commentators arguing that the effort to make biologically specific phenomenon all-inclusive erases factors that make women distinctive from men and even dehumanizes women. That's funny. The Fox Business article has this listed as well. To voice concerns with Apple, 408-996-1010. So, yeah. If you want to voice concerns, if my audience wants to voice concerns, yes, voice your concerns with Apple. There's the number. I'm assuming that's a business number and I'm not just doxing somebody. Emojipedia faced some criticism when it first announced that the pregnant man and pregnant person emoji in September of last year. The company has said in a blog post that the new figures may be used for representation by trans men, non-binary people, or women with short hair. Though, of course, use of these emojis are not limited to these groups. I love that short-haired women get lumped in with trans men and non-binary people. You know? What are they saying there? What's the lesson there? The emoji can also be used as a tongue-in-cheek way to display a food baby, a very full stomach caused by eating a large meal, Emojipedia's Jane Solomon wrote. Both new pregnant emoji also come in 5 different skin tones. When selecting an emoji, users can use their finger on the icon until it shows different skin tone options. Emoji first came to Apple in 2016 when the pregnant woman emoji was released. Emoji creators have, quote, made an effort to be inclusive with gender, especially in recent years. The approach has varied depending on the situation, though the general goal is to standardize inconsistencies in legacy decisions, Solomon wrote. According to the health website healthline.com, people who are born biologically female but identify as men are transgender men who can give birth because they have the reproductive organs necessary to do so, especially those that do not take or have stopped taking testosterone. The same goes for those who identify as non-binary. It's unclear how many men have given pregnant or delivered babies in the United States. At least 22 men in Australia gave birth in 2018, the Daily Mail reported, citing the country's Medicaid data. Apple did not immediately respond to an inquiry from Fox Business. Have we jumped the shark as a nation? That's what I want to know. Have we jumped the shark? Is it over that we are now debating emojis? I don't use emojis often, but when I do, they are gender neutral. I don't know what to make of all this. It's weird. It feels, here's the thing. It's definitely Orwellian because, men can't give birth. Now, women who have made efforts to appear as men can give birth, but men cannot give birth. And on the one hand, you say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with this," and it's like, yeah, okay. When do these people ever stop? That's my question. When have they ever stopped? Everybody who's always just like, I don't see what the problem is. Just whatever issue. Someone says, hey, we want to invade Ukraine. And I'm like, why do you want to do that? They go, we got to protect American interests. And I go, okay, so what does that mean? And they go, we're going to invade Ukraine. Why don't you support it? And you're like, well, you still haven't really given me a good reason. And next thing you know, we're in Ukraine or they're heading east even further. It's never enough. You do this with the smokers. You do this with video games. You do whatever. The people, if you let people in to your decision-making process, these are people who want to be part of your decision. These are people that want to control what you do. And they usually do it just through the power of suggestion. They just want to convince you in suggestive ways. They don't ever stop with these sorts of things. It's going to be, we're going to need some furry representation on here next. It's like, it's predictable. So everybody can, complain, oh, old man Evan over here doesn't get it. Well, sure, but it is weird that they're doing that. Why does Apple feel the need to be part of this? Oh, we care about representation. For who? These are like less than 1% of the population. And then it's either just about publicity, get people talking about it. Who would want to do that? Or they're just full steam ahead on this ideology shit. And I think those actually can be true. I think they can benefit from the publicity, and I think they also believe in this crap. Like, again, why is a non-binary person is not the same thing as a short-haired woman, unless that non-binary person is actually a woman. A trans person is not like, just because you're a man who's decided to become a woman but you cut your hair short, it's not the same thing as a woman with short hair. There are differences. Why is this so? That's the thing. This is a really stupid conversation. This shouldn't be controversial. And I'm not gonna do the fucking, sorry kids, but the crap of pretending that like it's just about gender and not sex. It's like you got a man giving birth. Okay? And it's just this constant insistence that it's not real. And I know it's like we can, this is a man and this is a woman. Okay? Okay. Honest to God, I don't know what to make of all this. It's weird. It feels like we've run out of problems. That's what it feels like to me, that we've run out of problems. Finally, our feel-good story of the week. Yes. This is for people who, we cover a lot of heavy topics on the Seventh Heaven podcast. But here, we're going to cover a really important news story. Comes to us from Fox 10 Phoenix. Dog survives incident with mountain lion in Arizona. Quote, most horrifying thing I've ever seen. Yavapai County, Arizona. It's a miraculous story after a couple took their dog hiking at Oak Creek Canyon and the unthinkable happened. A mountain lion grabbed their dog and ran off. The amazing part, the dog survived. People love enjoying the outdoors with their dogs, and the couple was hoping for a cool adventure at Oak Creek Canyon on January 19th, but a mountain lion changed all of that. Steve and Tammy Miller can't believe Carly the dog survived after being dragged off by a mountain lion. I've seen my dog in this thing's mouth. Tongue out, it was limp. Most horrifying thing I've ever seen, Steve said. The couple from Cottonwood said that the mountain lion snatched Carly, who weighs 65 pounds, when the rope attached to her collar gave way. Devastated, Tammy said. We screamed at the cat. We screamed for our dog to fight. Seeing as we did, what chance did she have? After reporting the incident and searching for hours, the couple went home heartbroken. We love our dog. Nothing but a blessing, Steve said. That same night, the couple got a call from a park ranger who said someone had found Carly along Oak Creek. She was frightened but not seriously hurt. Amy Burnett with the Arizona Game and Fish Department says that there's several scenarios that could have played out. There's a big possibility that this particular mountain lion was young and inexperienced or old and weak and desperate, Burnett explained. Mountain lion attacks on dogs are really fairly rare, and attacks on people are even more rare. There's also a chance the mountain lion had just happened to seize an opportunity to snatch another animal, she added. Well, okay. First off, Carly is a bad bitch. Okay, Carly is a bad bitch. And I mean that in the literal sense. She's a badass dog. Female dog, because she's a bitch. I would be eaten. If a mountain lion got me by the neck, I'm done. I'm done. There's no way that I have one, unless you have a gun and you happen to pull the trigger right when he starts to clamp down and you blow that cat's skull right out of his head. That's my only chance. Every other scenario, is me getting crushed by this mountain lion. There will be, the story hiker eaten by mountain lion. And it'd have my picture. It'd have a picture of me in high school looking like having a good time. And, then you'll find out he's 30, but it's weird that they use this fucking photo from all these years ago. They'll have my ass carved up by a mountain lion. No chance. No chance of survival. When I was growing up, I went to Yosemite, and in Yosemite, they have the park ranger was giving us a big talk, and his whole talk was he was telling us about black bears and mountain lions, and he said the difference between grizzly bears and black bears, with grizzly bears, they don't climb. So if you see a grizzly bear, climb a tree. But if you see a black bears can climb trees, so you just play dead. Just play dead. That was his advice. And then a black bear ran through the presentation. And I don't know if that was scripted, but it was crazy. This fucking bear, a full fucking bear, just runs right through the center of the crowd and climbs a tree. And I was like, what the shit? So I don't know. Is it SeaWorld? Is Yosemite doing a SeaWorld act up there? I don't know. But it was still one of those really weird memories that you have when you're a kid. And but he did say with the mountain lion, he said, just like make yourself big. Just make yourself big. And I've always, that would be my reaction if I saw a mountain lion. I have never had a chance to practice that. So I don't know for sure that works. But if it didn't, I'd be dead. I would be dead. Carly would survive. I'm not a bad bitch. I'm merely a man. And Carly would have had a better chance of survival than me, apparently, because I think the moment that cat has your neck in its mouth, you're done. There's no coming back. So good for Carly. Good for that. Good for Tammy and Steve out in Cottonwood. And yeah, it's nice to it's nice to end the show on a happy story, because so many of you people, you send me negative emails all day about how your fucking kids hate my language. And you send me negative tweets, and the women, it's too much. So I'm here to give you guys something to relieve the tension, because it's tense. The world is tense. Thank you so much for listening to the Seventh Heaven podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow the Instagram on Seventh Heaven, blah, 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 blah. You can follow the show on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. You can listen on Spotify for now, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey. Have a great weekend.